Hey everyone, today we're unpacking a text that honestly hits the nail right on the head, even though it was written literally thousands of years ago. We are talking about Seneca's classic work on the shortness of life. Now, forget boring philosophical essays. This is arguably the most brutally honest and relevant time management guide ever written. Our goal today is to figure out how to break out of pure survival mode, start actually living, and do it without sacrificing our careers or our personal freedom. Let's get into it.
And we need to start with a question we constantly ask ourselves. Why do we always seem to lack time? We are so used to complaining about deadlines, bad circumstances, and demanding bosses, genuinely believing there simply aren't enough hours in the day. But Seneca forces us to hit the brakes and face a really uncomfortable truth. What if nature isn't actually stingy with time, and we are the ones responsible for our own time bankruptcy?
So the core takeaway right off the bat is this. Life isn't short. We are the ones who make it short by mindlessly wasting it. Time is our only truly non-renewable resource, yet we act like we've got an infinite stash of it hidden somewhere. We aren't poor when it comes to time. We're just incredibly reckless spenders.
Think of it like this. Even a really modest amount of money will grow if you hand it over to a smart investor. It's the exact same thing with our lives. Life gives us a remarkably generous amount of time to achieve incredible things, but only if you invest those hours wisely instead of just throwing them away. If you become a good manager of your own time, your life will miraculously feel a whole lot longer. It's actually kind of funny how history repeats itself. In ancient Rome, powerful people had this massive problem with clients. Basically, mobs of people who would show up at their doors at dawn, demanding favors and completely stealing their days. Sound familiar? Today, those mobs aren't standing on our front porch. They live right in our pockets. The endless pings, the corporate messenger chats. It's the exact same noise, just wrapped up in modern technology. Seneca actually calls out 5 specific habits that ruthlessly steal our personal time: insatiable greed for more, exhausting dedication to totally useless tasks, chasing after other people's money, thanklessly trying to please the boss, and just aimless, shifting fickleness. It's crazy, right? These ancient vices are 2,000 years old, but they perfectly describe our modern corporate culture. And this brings us to a mind-blowing concept Seneca calls busy idleness. Now, this isn't about chilling on the couch. It's the illusion of being productive while doing completely trivial things. In Rome, people would obsess over their hair or bronze collections. Today, we obsessively sort emails or shuffle digital paper. We mistake mere movement for actual, meaningful progress. Being constantly, mindlessly busy is literally a way of losing yourself. This highlights the biggest human hypocrisy out there. Seriously. We will hire lawyers and fight tooth and nail to protect every penny in our bank accounts. We guard our wealth fiercely. But when it comes to our time, which is literally pieces of our actual life, we just hand it out to absolutely anyone. A coworker with a quick question, a random internet argument, we give ourselves away for free. Now, don't think this is just a problem for everyday workers. Even the most powerful leaders in history fell into this trap. Emperor Augustus, who literally ruled the world, constantly daydreamed about retiring. The brilliant speaker, Cicero, was completely trapped by his political duties. It goes to show that outward success and career growth very often lead to inner captivity if you don't know how to set boundaries. So, how do you know if you're living other people's goals? The symptoms are pretty clear-cut. Your entire schedule is dictated by what everyone else needs. You only feel relief when a task is finally over. You're constantly putting off your real life until retirement. And maybe the biggest red flag, you can't bear to just sit alone with your own thoughts without reaching for your phone. I want you to pause and honestly ask yourself right now, have you lived a long life or have you just existed for a long time? Seneca uses this amazing metaphor of a ship that gets caught in a brutal storm right outside the harbor. It was tossed around by the waves for years. Did it have a long voyage? No, it was just tossed around a lot. That is the fundamental difference between truly living and just aimlessly existing. To make sure we don't become that ship, we need a rigorous system. We can use an executive task matrix like this one to protect our sanity. As professionals, we have to ruthlessly separate the true work that actually leads to our growth from that toxic, busy idleness that we need to eliminate entirely. And as for other people's demands, those need to be aggressively delegated or straight up declined. So how do we actually do this? You have to build an absolute fortress around your schedule. First, know your real capabilities and only take on tasks that have a clear, definitive end.
Second, avoid toxic people who constantly complain. They just drain your time. Knowing your limits is your best defense, and smart delegation is how you maintain control over your own life without burning out. Of course, protecting your boundaries means learning how to say a firm no to information noise. Stop agreeing to meetings that could have easily been an email. Stop getting sucked into useless office drama, and quit wandering around looking for things to do just to look busy. Keep your focus strictly on what has a fixed, meaningful goal.
Look, putting off your real life so you can deal with today's immediate noise is a fatal error. Seneca warns us that expecting things from tomorrow is the greatest obstacle to living today. By constantly delaying your life, you are taking the one thing you actually control, this present moment, and handing it completely over to chance. To take back control, try doing Seneca's evening time audit. It's a fantastic daily reflection method. At the end of the day, ask yourself the hard questions. How many hours were stolen today by bosses, clients, or random arguments? Separate your real achievements from tasks you did just to meet imposed expectations. You'll probably be shocked at how little time was actually spent on your own mind. And during the day, keep a mental checklist. Right in the middle of a task, ask yourself, is there a specific outcome for what I'm doing right now? Am I just doing this to look busy? If this task completely vanished, would it actually matter? Catching yourself in the act of busy idleness lets you immediately redirect your energy to something that truly counts. You know what else really clears the mind? A short daily meditation on your own mortality. I know it sounds a bit dark, but it's incredibly grounding. The Stoics didn't use this to get depressed, they used it to prioritize. Recognizing that you don't have an infinite supply of time stops you from acting like an immortal in your desires. It forces you to reclaim the present moment, immediately. Once you actually reclaim your time, the big question is, what do you do with it? Seneca's advice is to connect with the great minds of the past. Unlike needy clients or demanding bosses, spending time learning from great thinkers won't drain you. In fact, they share their wisdom, effectively adding their years of experience to your own life. And that brings us to what it genuinely means to own your time in the modern world. True leisure isn't about mindlessly scrolling on the couch. It's a deliberate choice to step away from the corporate noise and invest in your own personal growth and timeless wisdom. It's about connecting with something eternal rather than the fleeting drama of the present. Let's do a reality check right now. Open up your calendar, look at it closely, and ask yourself, who actually owns the hours of your days? If your schedule is entirely filled with other people's priorities, artificial crises, and external demands, you need to change course immediately before your whole life slips by while you're busy serving someone else's agenda. Ultimately, we all have to confront this really uncomfortable truth from Seneca. Why in the world do we give the absolute best, most energetic hours of our lives to our jobs and to random people, but keep only the exhausted, leftover scraps of the day for ourselves and our loved ones? Ask yourself today, whose life are you really living?